Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Karina, and I'm coming to you from the Pacific Northwest. It is Friday, January 26th. It is about 6 a.m. I am on my way out to the barn to feed the horses. Ordinarily, Friday is my day off, but I had dental surgery on Tuesday, which made me miss a day on Wednesday. And even though I get paid sick time off, the work is still there. So I am going to do some work today. Just want to show you the moon real quick because it's beautiful. So I'm going to work at least a few hours. I have a couple projects I want to finish up, and hopefully I'll get most of the afternoon off. So it's cloudy. It's about 40-some degrees. Here's the creek. This is the outfall. The neighbors have taken down their Christmas lights, which is kind of sad. It's still dark out here. This is the stream side. There's the house. There's the barn. Duck under the fence. Always scanning for reflections of eyeballs of animals. I usually don't see very many. Sometimes deer, which usually scare the bejeebers out of me, and then sometimes a bunny. It's been a while. The horses are, well, you can't see, but they're over by the trees. I just saw the reflection of their eyes. So I am at the barn. I'm going to start feeding, and I look forward to catching up with you on the knitting. Hi everyone. Welcome to the knitting portion of my podcast. My little clicker dealy isn't working, so this is a manual operation today. Hopefully you have watched my little segment of me walking out to the barn. So there should be a little bit more horse part. I'm going to have a lesson with Bragi. My trainer's coming over in about 30 minutes or so, and I will either film some or just talk about it a little bit later. So we are on the path to training Bragi to get into the trailer so that we can take him and do some more perhaps productive work with him in terms of the journey of getting him under saddle. So, but I'm here to talk about knitting. What am I wearing besides a down vest? It's not that cold outside. It's about 45 degrees. I was just outside and I just did not take this off. So this is the Weir V-neck. I've worn it. I wear it a lot. It's a, I think this is a fingering weight yarn. So I typically wear something underneath it just for an extra layer. I am also wearing my almondine socks. These are, this came from Master Sock Knitting book that I should have linked in the show notes. The yarn colorway, I don't remember the colorway, but it's by Legacy Fiber Arts. And it's their steel toes. I think it's Smell My Feet. This was a Halloween colorway. So I really like the orange. You can see I ran out of yarn. I was doing barn toes at the time, which are a much longer toe. And the Legacy Fiber Arts skeins are not full skeins. So I always would run out and then end up having to use a little bit of the main skein for the remainder of the toe. So just a little pop of color, heel flap and gusset, and barn toe with this nifty kind of lace pattern that I'm not sure if it shows up or not. I was talking about the Weir sweater that I'm wearing, just a V-neck, a little bit longer in the front, the back than the front. It is knit flat and then pieced together. It was a Barocco linen blend, mostly wool, but some linen. That's all I have to say about that. It does pill, so I'm constantly pulling little fuzzies off. It's not important enough to me to take a razor to it or anything like that, but you know, like I said, I do pick at it occasionally. That's all I have to say about that. So what kind of progress have I made? I have the knit or Frog My Knits cowl going on, and I haven't made any progress. The reason why I started the cowl is to hopefully provide some motivation and maybe some accountability. So far, I think about it a lot. I just haven't done anything. If you saw my last episode, you saw that I had at least separated out the part that was that I'm going to actually frog and start knitting down. I just have not had the ambition to actually start that part. So if you're wondering what this is, I talked about it last time. It's a greenhouse. I put it together when we were having a really significant cold snap, and I was worried that this plastic visqueen plastic cover would not survive the cold. I think it's probably safe to say that it could go outside now, so I just need to do that. I do have some plants in here. I was looking up at the ceiling because I noticed that we have some insects that are apparently coming from those plants. I'm not quite sure what to do about that. So I suspect it's the soil, and I think I may have mentioned this before, but it's really important to use, if you're going to grow plants indoors, use indoor potting soil or sterilize your soil. And I think you can do that by you know, putting it in the oven if you want to do that, putting it on a big tray and oven-proof tray and baking it, or I'm going to try putting boiling water in it. I'm just going to have to wait for these plants to get ready to go outside again before I can really think about that. That's probably how I'm going to address that situation. I didn't mean this to be a gardening segment. There really isn't much gardening going on except for the indoor stuff. It is important to figure out how to fix those problems. I have an orange tree in here with some good sized oranges on it. Just, they're not ripe yet. So looking forward to that. Anyway, back to the knitting. So I haven't made any progress on the Frog My Knits 2024 cowl. The link to that is in the show notes, or at least the hashtag if you would like to tag me on that. I do plan on holding that until the end of November and drawing a prize for anyone who would like to participate. On my needles, you have seen this before. I'm making significant progress. I'm going to put my sock back on, so excuse me. This is what I'm going to show you is the Colorwork scarf that I've been working on. That's by Pacific Knit Co. Making a lot of progress on that. So it's been my early morning knitting before work or before breakfast, depending on what day of the week it is. So, this is my progress. So quite significant progress, don't you think? So I just recently changed into this lighter color blue. There's just these kind of nice holiday motifs here. I think I'm going to go back to maybe green after the blue and then go back to pink. So I'm thinking I probably need at least 3 times this length in order for it to really work. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, and 14 motifs So that's going to be a total of 14 times 3. I think that is like 52. So 52 motifs total. Some of these will be repeated. I want to repeat the reindeer motif and probably the snowman motif in colors with higher contrast so that they are more visible. This is made fingering white yarn. It's in a tube. It's cast on with a seamless cast on. And if you do it right, it is really seamless. I have since then made a couple seamless cast-ons that are not invisible. And I'll talk about that in a minute. One of them was the Arnie and Carlos stocking that I did. I didn't refer to the directions and thought I had it memorized. Well, apparently I didn't. But it's a stocking, not anything I would wear, so it doesn't matter. And quite honestly, it probably doesn't matter to me enough anyway to really go back and fix it. Super fun. I really like Pacifico Knits motifs, colorwork motifs. They're really fun. I am using mostly scraps. This is an undyed ball of fingering by Polka Dot Creek. And then there are some of the Polka Dot Creek Advents in here, like I believe the blue and this sparkly green and this sparkly green are all part of that. This color is from Freckled Whimsy self-striping, Dumbledore's Army, I think is the colorway. Another whip I have, and I am getting really close to being done, is my shawl. So this is the grand opening shawl by Tellybeans Knits. Show you the right side. So this is the finished side here. Get the bag out of the way. This is the finished side here. It started in the middle, that pink section. And then this is the side I am working on. I'm on I think I'm on day 25. And I just need to finish that section and then do a 2-stitch I-cord bind off. So I used, as you can see, I really focused on the pinks. I started out by using an Advent mini bouquet by Polka Dot Creek yarns, and I also added some row 1 minis in there, and then I just started doing scraps because the sections got too big for the size of the minis. So this section is a scrap from a pair of mittens. I made colorwork mittens, the Erica, oh gosh, it's Songbird mittens. I don't remember the designer's name. This variegated is a, might be micro-striped yarn. This is from a sock, colorwork sock I did. It's not really, it was a 2-yarn sock by Stephen West, the mystery sock along he did last summer. And then this is, this is a West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn that's left over from a sock I made a couple of years ago, probably. So I expect to finish this. This should be a finished object the next time I record, hopefully next weekend, and maybe all the ends sewn in as well. This bag is made by my mom. It's a very nice, simple drawstring bag, which I really appreciate. Made out of some fabric I bought her, I think, when we were on a trip in Maine, and I bought her apparently. My mom's a quilter, and I think I was just trying to buy some fabric she would enjoy, and I apparently bought several yards of it, which I didn't know that was a lot of fabric. So what else? Oh, I have a finished object. So this was a whip last time. These are not blocked, not worn yet, except for trying them on. So socks, just plain vanilla socks, knit round and round and round. These are knee socks, made from the Freckled Whimsy Advent 24 striped yarn. They do not match, was the top of the skein. Came with the contrasting mini. And then when I finished this sock, I just started the next color, which happened to be kind of a brown. Actually, I think I have that backwards. I think this was the first sock. And this was the last sock. I actually finished these on Wednesday, but I had didn't count the stripes correctly, so I actually had to rip out the toe and add another stripe to make it long enough. So that was a little frustrating. On Tuesday, I had dental surgery, and Wednesday just was in a lot of pain and very tired. So I took the day off from work and just kind of did some really otherwise brainless knitting. But what happens when you do brainless knitting is that you don't make them long enough. And I actually dropped some stitches here and then made a mistake when I picked them up. But these are on the bottom of my foot, so I don't care. This is the amount of yarn I have left from that self-striping Advent. It's about 38 grams, so I could divide it into two 17-gram minis if I choose to. I may, if I ever do scrappy socks, or I just may put it in a Colorwork, in my Colorwork basket of scraps. So I haven't worn these yet. Plan to ride these when I go riding next. I hope to ride this weekend. We'll see if that actually happens. So that is, oh, that is not all the knitting. Because I have a cast off, I have a new cast on. I really thought about working on my frogged project, but I decided I really needed a pair of socks on the needle. So I started these toe-up socks, and I don't know if you can see, this is supposed to be an invisible, but cast on, Judy's Magic cast on. Unfortunately, I did something incorrectly, so it's got this sort of ridge that you can see. It's like it's the garter side or the reverse side. So I am using Flexi Flips. These are size 1.5. Normally I use size 0 or 2 millimeter. I think these are 2¼ millimeter. So, because I'm using Patton's Croy yarn, which is a little bit thicker. So if you look at the inside, it's perfectly invisible. So I just started knitting on the wrong side of it. So no big deal. This is going in my shoe. The pattern, I don't normally knit toe-up socks, and I thought about reverse engineering this so that they would be cuffed down, but I was like, no, I need to practice toe-up socks. I usually run into problems in the heel, but this is the yarn, Patton's Croy. It takes 2 skeins. The colorway is blue raspberry. These are 50-gram skeins for 166 yards. And I am knitting out of this book. I decided to start knitting more out of my books because I have books. 52 weeks of socks, and this is pattern number 1. This was published by Elaine magazine, which actually I think it's Pom Pom that's going out of, that just released their last issue of the magazine. So these are called intersections. So it's cabled. I'm hoping that the striping pattern shows the cables okay. I have a pencil in there. Let me see. Hopefully you can see that. I love knitting pattern socks. I get kind of bored with the just plain socks. So I'm planning on just going through this book with the self-striping yarn that I have. There's some that's more lace pattern, so that would work really well with any self-striping. I was just super pleased that the first pattern, the recommended yarn is Patton's Croy, because I have some of that. So looking forward to knitting these. Life stuff. The weather has warmed up. I had dental surgery. These are, I guess, all the reasons why I haven't gotten out and really done much outdoors or gone riding or anything like that. I had friends that rode last week. It had warmed up enough sufficiently so that the ground was soft again, but it was pouring down rain, and I just frankly cannot bring myself out to ride in that kind of weather, and they admitted that they got really wet. So good for them. Glad they have that ambition. I do not. Hope to ride this weekend. Feeling much better. I mean, I was really kind of down for the count on Wednesday after the dental surgery, and you can see kind of I have a little bruise here. So I had an implant from 2007 that was just starting to misbehave. So that's been pulled, and it's healing, and eventually I'll have another. It's way back by my wisdom tooth. I still have all 4 of my wisdom teeth. But I just have a big space between my wisdom teeth and then the molars in front of it. And it feels a little weird. I'm eating a lot of soft foods. So smoothies galore, I'm kind of sick of them. And I've had to be really careful with like what I put in my smoothies, like raspberries, because they have seeds, like peanut butter. We have crunchy peanut butter. Just make sure I grind the bejeebers out of that, because I don't want any of that getting caught in the area that is still sutured and healing. I can usually stand about 3 or 4 smoothies a day, and then I have to try to eat solid food, and that has been going okay. I've just been really careful. I ate some pasta. I just really, if I'm gonna eat any produce, I have to make sure I chop it up very small. Like I have some pears in the fridge that are ready to eat. They're very ripe. I'm just going to need to chop those up really small. Maybe even peel them. Just because I really don't want anything to happen to that area. I have to take antibiotics. Not excited about that, which is why I am including a lot of cultured yogurt in my smoothies, and I'm actually going to make yogurt in my Instapot because I have been going through a lot of yogurt. So in my Instapot, there's a yogurt setting, and I just get whole milk. I get milk from a local dairy that has the cream on top, and it has to boil first, and then you have to cool it. So it's probably on the boil setting now, and then while I'm out doing my lesson, I'll let it cool, and then add the yogurt. I just add culture from the existing container of yogurt that has cultures in it, and then it sets for, and then it does its thing. Yogurt, I guess, ferments is the word I'm looking for 8 hours, and it's I've had some high success with it. I don't typically eat a lot of yogurt, but since I'm taking antibiotics, I want to just kind of help my gut bacteria along. I think that's all that's going on with life stuff. It's January, starting to show some signs of spring coming, thank goodness. And the horses are going to start shedding next month, and they do that in response to the length of daylight. It is now, the sun is setting after 5 p.m. It might be 5:01 p.m., but it is after 5 p.m. I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to try to use this thing to turn it off, and hopefully I'll have something to talk about after my lesson with Bragi. So have a great day, and I'll see you for a short bit in a little bit. I don't think this is going to work. I think it's going to make me get up. Okay, I'm going to get up. So I'll see you soon. Hi everyone. Pleased to report I got my clicker thingy to work. I should have looked to see whether it was paired with my phone before I tried it last time. One thing I forgot to talk about in the knitting section, or maybe, yeah, I guess this is the knitting section, is that this book came in the library. So this may be backwards for you, but it's called Respect the Spindle, and it's by Abby Franquemont, Franquemont. So I am intrigued by My Wool Mittens Spin Along. I've never spun. I know that there is wool available locally and alpaca. Currently, the only wool from the local sheep farmer that I know of is in white, and I'm not super excited about white, but the alpaca farmer, I think I can get black and brown and different shades of brown, so could possibly blend that. Of course, I am distracting myself with possibly spinning because I don't want to do my frog. I don't want to frog my Riverside sweater, but I am going to do that. So no worries. I will get to it. I promise. I just need to finish the shawl. And as you saw earlier, that shawl is very close to being finished. I'll probably finish it this weekend. The other thing I wanted to talk about was my lesson with Bragi. It went really well. I will include a photo at the end. So we have been using the cone as a place for him to stand and wait, and he understands that very well. So the next step of being in the trailer, he has been in the trailer, but he doesn't like to stay in there. So helping him understand that he has his cone there, he can stay in there and he can wait. But also when you close the divider, it's a very small space, and getting him used to the idea of being in a small space. So you'll see in the picture that we set up a cone in the corner by a gate, and then we have the gate angled so it is starting to squeeze toward him. And we did this very incrementally, step by step, to the point where he would let me touch his shoulder with the gate, like close it enough next to the fence line so you can imagine how tight that feels. And he let me touch it and open the gate, touch him with it, open the gate. And so we practiced that. And our next step that we started working on at the end of the lesson was to try to get him to move his hip over so that he will touch the fence line. And we did this in the round pen where nothing's electrified. Don't need to worry about that. And he didn't quite get it. So we set up a couple barrels to see if he could maybe move towards that. And he still didn't quite get it. So what we ended up doing is picking up one of the barrels and just taking it to him and just like, hey, can I touch you with this? And can I touch you on your shoulder? Can I touch you at your rib cage? Can I touch you at your haunches? And he did that very well. So that is what our assignment is for next week. I have to drive into work 3 days next week, so there really isn't going to be a lot of time to work on this, but we can always, take it a step further. Hopefully I'll get to ride Odin maybe at my next lesson. I'm hoping I get to ride this weekend. On Sunday, the weather's supposed to be okay, so maybe I'll get to start riding again. I really hope so. Well, that's all I have for today. Have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next episode. We'll see if my clicker's going to...